Hello guys, Sam Mark here, and this is going to be your NXT review. Alright, this is the April 22nd, 2015 edition of NXT, and the show starts off with Finn Balor. And Finn Balor here was mega over, not really surprising. And if Vince McMahon, the day that Finn Balor ever decides to come up to the main roster, manages to find a way to mess this guy up, then I would realize that there is really no hope for WWE for the next couple of years until Vince McMahon either retires or croaks. This was just a basic squash match. Ty Dillinger just had a little bit of offense. You know, something that you would normally see back in the day in the old Superstars tapings. And then after that, when Finn finally wins, Tyler Breeze comes up in a Titantron and cuts a promo on Finn Balor, basically starting a Finn Balor and Tyler Breeze program, which I legitimately got excited for because Tyler Breeze, all you don't know this, is my favorite wrestler in NXT right now. Finn Balor, I think I consider number 3, number 4, around that spot. Number 2 is Hideo Itami. And just imagining the kind of match that these two would have is really getting me excited for the next pay-per-view or takeover special, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they're going to have a badass match, and hopefully Finn Balor's on his way to the roster, and this is just going to be a way to put over Tyler Breeze, because Tyler Breeze, I don't see that leaving there. Probably for another year he'll stay there. I don't know why. He could be up there right now, but I think he needs to get a little credibility because of that gimmick he has. That gimmick is going to hold him back when it comes to the main roster, especially with people like Kevin Dunn and freaking Vince McMahon. I wonder how they're going to book freaking Tyler Breeze. Hopefully he succeeds, and I wish the best of luck for him. Alright, after that we got Dana Brooke, who cut an atrocious promo. My god, was this promo bad. I don't even remember what she said exactly, but all I remember is that it was bad. And, you know, Dana Brooke hasn't been doing this for a while. I don't know why they put her on TV so soon. There's really nothing to hate about because she's exactly where she belongs. It's not like Cameron or Eva Marie that goes to developmental for like 2 months and then goes straight to the main roster, and then you could barely even wrestle a 6-minute match. So she's exactly where she needs to be. Give her 2 years and I think she'll be pretty good. She got the athletic background. She got a good look. Yeah, 2 years is enough time. She should be good by 2 years. Then after that was the Divas Triple Threat match, and the winner goes on to face off Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's Championship. We got Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bayley. And this match was completely and utterly awesome. Now, you see, I would have said awful, but you see, this was the NXT women and not the WWE Divas. Big difference there. There was this pretty crazy spot that he did in the middle of the match. Instead of trying to describe it and to save you guys from my horrible description skills, I'm just going to show you right now.
Here comes Charlotte. Wait a minute. Look at Bayley. My God. That look in Charlotte's eyes. Look out. Here's Bayley.
And shortly after that, the crowd started chanting "Better than Divas." You bet your ass this is better than Divas. This match was awesome. A fine example of how women can easily be good at wrestling as the men if you give them enough time and you give them opportunities. Something that the Divas division does not have. This is why whenever I go and watch WWE Raw, I'm more critical of the Divas there because I usually watch NXT and just expect so much more from those divas because they're on prime time while they're still in developmental, and yet they're outperforming them in every way imaginable. I mean, when you're Divas champion, freaking can't even take a hard Corona bump, and then you have freaking 3 women over here just busting out this match in just some random episode of NXT, that's when you know there's a problem. Becky Lynch comes out the winner of this when Charlotte gave Bayley a figure 8. And while she was about to tap out, Becky Lynch came out crawling and got the pin on her. Basically, it's exactly the same way Curtis Axel won the Intercontinental Championship back at Payback 2013. So if you saw the finish of that match, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Next up was Hideo Itami, who also defeated CJ Parker in a squash match. This is weird because CJ Parker has been out of the company for weeks now, but yet I still see him on NXT. This was just a basic match, just showing off Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami is mega over still in this crowd, and hopefully Vince McMahon doesn't do his typical shtick where he comes up with some racist, stereotypical Asian gimmick for Hideo Itami, like what he did with Funaki, that Kung Funaki thing. I still can't get that out of my head. It was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's best that you do not go out of your way to see Kung Funaki. Next up was a Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks backstage segment. Basically, Becky Lynch was just in the locker room, just, taking out her shoes. But after that, Sasha Banks comes in and practically tells her that she has no chance of beating her, typical heel shtick. But the highlight of this was when Sasha Banks made fun of Becky Lynch's accent and the way that she said disgusting. I have no idea why I found that so funny. Nothing against accents or anything, but I just found it pretty funny. Moving on. Rhino then proceeded to squash a random jobber, and nothing really interesting here. The match lasted around like 4 seconds. A lot of squashes this episode of NXT, but with that triple threat match, I'm really not even complaining. We got a Blake and Murphy Carmella segment. Just shorten this up a bit. Blake and Murphy were basically hitting on Carmella, and Kaz and Enzo came in not really looking too thrilled about this. And then Carmella was talking about how they gave her jewelry. And then after that, Carmella told Enzo, "What did you ever give me?" And then Enzo, with the second line of the night, next to Sasha Banks mocking Becky Lynch, he said, "I gave you a job." Wow. But he's right. He is the reason why Carmella is there. She owes her entire career in kayfabe to Enzo Amore. Because if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have gotten a job at NXT. But she finds jewelry more worth value than a job, so, it's better off that she leaves that group. Because as long as she stays in that group, there's always that possibility where they do that typical, jealous segment, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, between Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and it'll eventually have a possibility of them breaking up. And we all know we do not want Cass and Enzo to ever break up. Not in NXT. Not when they make it to the main roster. Let's just say we hope they're a tag team for the rest of their careers because they are awesome. Next up, we got the main event, Alex Riley versus Kevin Owens. After this whole Twitter war between both of them and the dumb crap that Alex Riley has been saying on Twitter, I really can't take him as seriously as I did before all that happened. But that didn't excuse. This was a pretty solid match. Nothing special. Nothing out of the ordinary. Alex Riley, for a guy that hasn't wrestled in like 2 years, is still pretty, he's pretty decent. I expect him to get better over time. I don't expect him to make it far, but he's still over. I mean, he's over in NXT, and he got very emotional in his comeback match a couple weeks ago. I mean, he was legitimately crying in that promo. He was just so happy that he managed to finally have a match, just a regular match, and it was just a regular squash match. And then when I saw that for the first time, I just wondered, wow, WWE has some pretty messed up business practices if you were able to make a grown man cry like that. It just shows how passionate he is about what he's doing, regardless of the stupid crap that he says. So best of wishes to Alex Riley. He's not going to make it world champion. I don't even see him making it ever to the main event. But, best of luck to him, and I hope he succeeds in some way, shape, or form. Kevin Owens wins the match in convincing fashion, and then after that, Sami Zayn appeared out of nowhere and brawled with Kevin Owens, and the whole place just erupted after that. This brawl was awesome. It only lasted like 2 minutes, but just a short amount of time that they got. This was awesome, and it's getting me excited for the inevitable rematch between both of them at the next NXT TakeOver special. The whole crowd was just chanting Sami Zayn's name, and Kevin Owens was the heel here. You see, Owens, even though he is a heel, at sometimes he does get babyface reactions, but when you're a good enough babyface, you can kind of work around that. So I predict that at TakeOver, Sami Zayn is going to be the babyface, and Kevin Owens is going to be booed at like a heel. So we got the babyface challenger getting cheered and the heel monster champion being booed. Wow, what is this sorcery I'm seeing here? This is something I never seen before. Vince McMahon has to take notes when the next NXT TakeOver special comes. And that was your NXT review. Overall, it's a great show. I always enjoy NXT. And whenever NXT is over, I always have this big cheesy smile on my face, knowing that I just saw a good show. Unlike Monday Night Raw, whenever that show ends, either I'm half asleep or very angry at what's going on. But NXT is here to wash that bad taste I get in my mouth every Monday nights, and that is why NXT is awesome. And not to mention Lucha Underground, but I don't have the El Rey network, so I usually find it online somewhere. I'll probably review it one of these weeks if I ever get the chance to do it. But until then, remember to follow me on Twitter at TheSmark for any of my live reactions to pro wrestling shows. Like Extreme Rules this Sunday, I will be live tweeting throughout that entire show, and expect a review of Extreme Rules on Monday, on time, and I will not push back that date like I have done with a couple of these projects that I've been doing. Remember to support this channel by just liking the video and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you did that. So until we meet again, guys, stay gold and have a good one.